Hey, it's Rick, and this is Pro Gamer Parent. Do you know if your kid is playing too much games? Or the opposite? Would more matter or make it better? I bet you like 100% of the people I talk to don't know. And myself too, that's why I'm doing this, to do the research, to figure out what is a good ratio. What will build that curious and strong child that will have success and a happy life in whatever dream they want to do? And right now, it might be computer gameplay because that's exploding everywhere. And at least that's what we think. But I grew up playing games forever. That was a huge part of my life, but it was also a bit shame-based because it wasn't as popular and understood as it is today. I remember, and going back to the question on what is enough, I remember playing Dungeon Master back in the 90s or 87 or something like that, with a friend's mom putting an egg timer on 60 minutes and just showing it out playing badminton in the garden for 60 minutes, and we'd be banging on to get in so we can play, and then the egg timer again. So and that's how I remember playing that game, all of it until the end. 4 people hunched over one keyboard, and yeah, we're having a great time. But the thing at the time, I didn't thank her for it. None of us did. We were complaining, and maybe 10 minutes into the badminton, or actually into the whatever we were doing, we kind of enjoyed it, and then we knew we had a chance of getting in, so we still wanted to. And I think that's the lesson here, that we have to help with the balance. If there's and right now, with the algorithm society we're in, and YouTube is really hooking people with this lizard brain attention machine that all the platforms have right now. It's really, really easy to fall into the habit of just investing a few more minutes. So I do believe we have to help our child with a healthy balance, and we have to put some tension and help them fight the resistance for 10 minutes or longer until that lizard brain algorithm driven juice wears off, so they can appreciate where they are. We have to do that. And my humble recommendation for doing that, I'm not a psychiatrist, I don't know, but that is to give attention to their part of the playing field first. Do you know the name of the game they're playing? Do you know why they're playing this and why they abandoned the previous one? That's where it starts. How can you expect them to pay attention to badminton? Or I never learned how to appreciate or to be good at badminton. I guess that's why I don't appreciate it, but I appreciate the variation. I know that I have to have a healthy body now to live the successful life I want to live. So thank you now for getting me out of those 60 minutes. But back then, no, I didn't thank for it. I didn't show appreciation for it, but now I'm very appreciative. If we'd invested all weekend not seeing a ray of sunshine, I think my life would have been different right now. So thank you. And to all your parents out there, you won't get a gratitude or thank you immediately. But it's worth fighting for. It's worth sticking to that attention. And once again, with paying attention to what they love, you can also see what happens to the tension part that you must uphold as a parent for helping them see a balance. Then you can see the correlation when things change in the game for them, or they change game or change people they play with, or go up divisions or whatever. You can see how it affects the other part, how long it takes for them to bounce back to a healthy breathing, living state. So once again, if you don't know what their favorite game is and why, do invest some time there. This will take time. This is not a quick fix. The longer it took for them to get where they are, the longer it's going to take for you to help them get a balance. But the earlier you start, the quicker they will be there, and you too. And I think also your interaction with them will be more fun. It's like the people at work that you really connect to are the people who understand your interests, right? Same thing here. So do realize that by giving attention, you're healing them, you're helping them. And you can also use words from their game, or you will find your metaphor when they're new and a beginner and low on the curve, or you will help them see that it's the same thing in real life. They didn't know how to do it in real life and in game, and then you can say, well, you trained like this and this, and now you can. You're the master of that, so you can do that. You were a beginner here, and you can do that. So if you pay attention to their side of the playing field, you can use parts of that to illustrate how it is to be a noob again, how it is to level up and to learn and show you, but you've felt like this before. You've been awkward, you've been scared, you've been feeling that you didn't know. And then you trained and then invested and then you got there. And so you can use that. And going back on the question, what is too much? I think that's, you start to realize when you're doing this intensively and for long hours, this happens in the other side. Without knowing this part of the equation, you can't really know. If you're having someone obnoxious or running tantrums right here, and you don't know the fault of their life, it's really hard to make a good diagnosis. But if you can see this is going on here and I can see this, then you can start to help where it matters. Because once again, trying to push it all out, they will just find another friend to go to. I'm going back to my own childhood, I couldn't afford the machine, the Atari box this was running on. I found a friend. I wanted to play that particular game so much. They will find it too. And be grateful that they're not finding other things to I don't want to go into that here. So be grateful that games sure can be addictive, and sure there's bad sides to it, but it's also so much learning that you can help them see. That we have to help them get a balance and see how they can apply what they learn in everything. And once again, if they don't meet up, then we can start talking about balance. When I see this kind of behavior, this is what happens to me. And then we can talk about it. And then also you can probably start to relate to what they're feeling. You can probably predict what's going to happen when this gets too intense for them and stuff like that. So the short answer, there is no too much and there is no specific balance. Just like the work balance thing. It's not the hours that makes people burn out. It's what they do and the tension they carry there. It's the same with games. For some people, I read a lot of books of ADHD diagnosis, for example. A little is really, really hooking them so much. For other people, they can play quite much. And it will serve them. It will help them. And that's really the way to know. Is it hindering them or is it serving them? For me, being 44 years old, it's the best meditation I can do. I make really hard, big, global choices for my line of work, and playing a game, it's like meditation for me. And I'm quite sure that for some people, it's like that. It could be for your child, for example. But it could also be that it's high stress and a lot of pressure. You don't know unless you pay attention to it. Sort of with empathy. Why does that matter to you? How are you thinking that? once again, and it's not just the mechanics, it's not just the game, but it's actually the people that they stay around with. Pay attention to the tone of voice, pay attention to the language. Quite often, that's why I encourage people to do pay attention to the game they're playing, because it could be that you really have to help them ignore the chat because it's a language there that you really don't want to stick to your young loved one. So, is there an easy, quick answer to too much? What is too much? No. Has psychology smarter than me found out that having the iPad on while turning on the changing diaper of a toddler, yes, that's good because it saves you a fight. If that turns into hours, no, that's not good, because then the algorithm on the platform is really going to hook their claws in, and you're really going to have a tantrum when you remove them. But it's a gray zone. And I say when you're young, you should really minimize it. That's my personal experience. When you have a teenager, it's a total different thing. When you're just 1 year old, you really need to bond to a human. You really need to learn the language and the nuance we have with people and stuff like that. You totally don't want your toddler to get hooked by an algorithm-driven AI that sort of knows exactly how to learn them deeper and deeper and deeper into it. But doing it for very quick things that makes things smoother. Yeah, I've read psychologist books that say that's okay, because fighting about diapers, for example, also costs your kids something in relationship building. But once again, you have to bear the tension and dance with it. What does this feel right? You're in for the long haul, the infinite game of raising a happy, successful child who wants to take on the world and solve really interesting problem for people that really matters for them. And if you just leave them in front of a box and you don't know what it's doing to them, for me, that's my humble opinion, that's too much. But if you use it with awareness, and if you use it as little as possible for its specific purpose, sure. And my toddler is too young right now, but once again, I want to make her a gamer if she wants to. I want to make her a programmer if she wants to. I will ease the path I already have Scratch on it. Scratch Junior too, so she can see me play with it while we're making a story together or something like that, because I want to encourage her to do that. I also already talked to martial art experts because I've been training martial art, and I want to ease the path, because once again, it has to be a balance about computer gameplay and physical activity and mindset. So think about that. And if you see a gap in one of those, how can you, as the adult in the relationship, help? That's really your responsibility right now. For a young child, it's hard to have a balance. That's what we need your wisdom for. So ask you these questions, even if they're hard, and see what you come up with, and play with it, and pay attention to what's working, and do more of that. And pay attention to what's working long term. That's the trick one. You don't just want to get 5 more minutes while you're doing the dishes. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Bye.